Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 241. People are starting to admit they were wrong about the Cybertruck. And Stellantis is out saying that the auto industry is in survival mode. And BMW admits that they are seeing weak demand in China. Yes, the collapse of the legacy automakers continues. And while the legacy automakers are closing plants and firing people, BYD is ramping up. And the Federal Reserve cuts rates by 50 basis points this week. And Tesla announced that they have produced their 100 millionth 4680 cell. And Tesla get special treatment in the EU. And Bloomberg shows that oil face a demand issue. And a new mind-blowing secret about the Cybertruck has just been revealed. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
So something wild is happening. People are starting to actually realize what an amazing launch Tesla's Cybertruck is. I did make a whole video about it last week, but this week I saw this post from Jesse Jenkins. Yelp. I could not have been more wrong. Not only has the Lightning or the R1T not outsold the Cybertruck as I predicted last year, but in July sales of the Cybertruck Foundation series, priced at $100,000, nearly matched all other EV trucks combined. And then I followed his link and saw this article. EV registration surged 18% in July, boosted by the Tesla Cybertruck and new models. So the Cybertruck is mentioned as the one boosting the EV sales numbers. I guess a lot of people has to swallow their pride and say I was wrong about the Cybertruck, just like Jesse here nicely did. Because according to the latest data from S&P Global Mobility, Tesla, the EV market leader, ended a 5-month slump with a 1.2% increase in registrations in the US, bolstered by 5,175 units sold of the Cybertruck, and that is up 61% month over month. Other EV pickups combined sold just 5,546 units during the same period. So that would be the F-150 Lightning, the Rivian R1T, the Silverado EV, the Hummer EV, and the Sierra EV. Combined, they can only just keep up with Tesla's Cybertrucks in sales. You know how so many people say it for more than a decade that the competition is coming for Tesla. And we are still waiting for that, by the way. But instead, Tesla is now coming for the competition in the EV pickup truck market, where Tesla is the latecomer, but they are truly coming for the competition and has already overtaken them all in sales. Even combined, they seem to be left behind the Cybertruck. No one can hide the success of the Cybertruck anymore. It is so clear that even Jalopnik had to make this positive headline of the Cybertruck. Then you know this is for real. They are usually very hateful towards Tesla. Remember this article just a month ago. Tesla Cybertruck ambulance let you die of embarrassment instead of your injuries. Or they even got community noted because of their false statement about Tesla's EV credits. They are just full-blown Tesla haters. But this week they wrote, Tesla Cybertrucks is kicking every EV truck's ass in sale. Wow, even the haters can't ignore it anymore. Is there anyone who still wants to go live and say that the Tesla Cybertruck is a flop? Yeah, I don't think so. And if you live in the US, Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, Singapore or Australia, I have got a special deal for you. But this is a limited time only, so hurry up if you want this great exclusive deal that I've got from Moomoo. Who is Moomoo, you might think? Well, Moomoo is one of the best trading platforms on the planet that was founded in Silicon Valley, designed to offer investors easy access to pro-level service and data. In Japan, Moomoo has become the top choice for US stock trading in Japan and is ranked in the top 3 of most downloaded stock trading apps. So if you want the best and easiest and lowest cost trading, Moomoo is the place to go. And right now you will get up to 15 free stocks when you open an account. So that's pretty cool, right? So how does this work? Well, if you sign up and open a broker account via Moomoo, you will get 5 free stocks with the deposit of only $100. Deposit $1,000 and you will get additional 10 stocks for free. So enroll and activate to get 5.1% APY based rating plus 3% APY for 3 months. What's more, Moomoo is one of the lowest cost trading platforms available, and if you live in the US, you will get $0 commissions trading. And you will also get access to fractional sharing, so you don't have to invest more than what your wallet allows, as low as $5, so that is pretty awesome. And most important for us Tesla investors, if you buy Tesla stock through Moomoo, you will be able to vote as a shareholder that some people struggle with Elon's compensation packets. So this exclusive offer is only until the end of September, so if you want to make use of it, hurry up and sign up with Moomoo today using my link down below. And go nuts, my friends. And the collapse of the legacy automakers continues. As AJ wrote on X, BMW halted production at their main European plant for several days. A BMW speaker confirmed that it's due to demand problems in China, as I have made countless of videos about over the years. It is just nice to hear that from the old guys finally admitting the trouble they are in China. And the recent discovered brake system fault, where 1.5 million BMWs have to be recalled, is not going to help BMW's situation. China's total vehicle market has been contracting for several months, and the growing electrified vehicle market is dominated by local brands, except Tesla, of course. And as they wrote in Euronews, in a press release issued on Tuesday, BMW announced a revised forecast for 2024, anticipating a slight decrease in car deliveries. The company has also adjusted its EBITDA margin expectations, now projecting a range of 6 to 7%, down from previous forecast of 8 to 10%. Furthermore, the return of capital deployed has been downgraded from an earlier range of 15 to 20% to a revised range of 11 to 13%. BMW stated the delivery stops for vehicles that are not yet in customers' hands will have a negative impact on global sales in the second half of the year. The technical issues related to the brake system affected over 1.5 million vehicles and will result in additional warranty costs amounting to several hundred million euros in the third quarter. Actually, BMW said later it's going to cost about $1.1 billion to fix the braking system fault in the 1.5 million vehicles. See, now that is a real recall and not just an over-the-air update. And BMW said themselves, this isn't just an ordinary recall, this is a significant shock, said Ferdinand, director for automotive research. The company also highlighted the sluggish demand in China is impacting sales, noting despite government stimulus measures, customer sentiment remains weak. The competitive landscape in core markets, including China and the US, has significantly affected both volume and price realization, BMW added. The negative impact is expected to be more pronounced in the third quarter compared to the fourth quarter of this year. BMW's recent announcement represents another setback for the European car-making industry, coming in the wake of Volkswagen's consideration of closing German factories and ending job security agreement. This decision has sparked a standoff as unions have rejected the proposal, as half of the seats on the Volkswagen supervisory board are held by labor representatives. During the second quarter earnings call, Volkswagen noted that it would need to make substantial cost cut in the second half of the year, as margins in the first half were deemed too low. Yes, we can see the collapse of the legacy automakers is happening right now. They are even saying it themselves. The demand for their cars in China are too low, as we have been talking about on this channel for years, but now everyone can see it, as the legacy automakers are out admitting now that the situation is unsustainable and they only have a couple of years to turn it around. And as the German auto industry is the backbone of the German economy, they will of course be bailed out, but this will be a big blow not just to the German automakers but also to the German economy. And while the legacy automakers are closing plants and firing people, BYD is ramping up. BYD has significantly ramped up hiring, increasing its workforce to more than 900,000 people as of Friday. Last week, a senior manager said, making the Chinese electric vehicle giant one of the largest employers in the country. This is 3 times the employment of the Volkswagen Group provides to Germany. With BYD's nearly 110,000 employees in the technology and R&D, BYD is the world's largest car maker as measured by R&D personnel, and the company has hired nearly 50,000 fresh graduates over the past 2 years. That stands in very big contrast to Volkswagen's, where internal calculations suggest that the Volkswagen brand might need to reduce the German workforce by up to 30,000 from the current 130,000 employees. And Audi is looking for buyers for their Q8 e-tron factory in Brussels as the sales of the EV is falling. Additionally, the company plans to cut investment by around 20 billion euros in its next midterm planning, which will also affect the core Volkswagen brand. The development department is facing several cuts, potentially leading to thousands of job losses. So BYD is aggressively hiring employees and sizing up their R&D spending, while Volkswagen is sizing down. Pretty clear what is going on, right? And as AJ also wrote about BYD on X, maximum employment is the CCP's, Chinese Communist Party, primary objective, since it is indistractable link to staying in power. Significant unemployment, especially further escalating youth unemployment, pose a major domestic threat to the CCP's range. For this reason, BYD significantly as a large-scale employer likely makes it increasingly a tool for the CCP policy rather than purely market-orientated cooperation. Excluding subsidies as a result, AJ speculate that BYD's odds of becoming leaner and more efficient continue to decrease as its importance as an employer rises. And we can see that BYD already is struggling with net income, as James showed on this chart that goes back to 2017, and we can see that Tesla went from a negative 12% in net income to a positive 17% last year, whereas BYD had 5% in net income in 17 and 5% net income in 2023. So BYD is growing rapidly, but this might also make it more and more difficult for BYD to make rapid changes, as we see so many times with big corporations. But this is also where Tesla is different, as Elon also said back at Battery Day that Tesla has set up a culture that makes sure that Tesla will only become faster the bigger they get, not slower. But we have more collapses of the legacy automakers, and they are speaking more and more openly about it. As this week, Stellantis was out saying the automotive industry is in kind of a survival mode. This was Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares that had this to say. The automotive industry is in kind of a survival mode. We are beyond fear. We cannot complain, we cannot hesitate. We have to concentrate our effort to stay alive. To stay alive, we need to achieve cost parity between electric cars and thermal cars. But another chapter opens here. We operate in a geographical region animated by chaos, and it is difficult to make predictions. Governments have decided to reduce purchase incentive, and this is holding back the market. Yes, Germany removing the EV incentive back in December has sent some shockwaves through the market, as Germany is the biggest market in Europe, and therefore this will have a big effect on the Europe market in general. So that is one of the reasons why the demand for EVs are down in Europe in 2024, but some markets are up, like my little country of Denmark, and in the big market like the UK, there's actually 18 countries that are up and only 13 countries that are down. So it's not that all markets in Europe are just down, but Germany is down, and that affects the whole market. If Denmark was down, nobody will probably notice. But it is a different story when it is the big Germany. So I am not so afraid of the drop in sales in Europe's EV market, as I only see this as a temporary slowdown because of this removal of incentives. But it will take up again, just like we saw in the UK, that also dropped in EV sales after they dropped the incentive back in 2022, but is back growing again now. But overall, I get why the legacy automakers are scared and in survival mode, as they are still struggling with EV sales while their ICE car sales are falling, and struggling so much with EV sales that the production of Stellantis Fiat 500e, for example, has been paused for 4 weeks due to weak demand. But again, we see the legacy automakers scrambling to find solutions, and Stellantis' solution is like the other old boys, once again, more hybrids. As the brand says, it will upgrade the factory to produce a hybrid 500 starting in 2025 or 2026. Again, a short-term solution that is like pissing your pants to stay warm. It won't last very long. But as Carlos says, they are in survival mode. They are not thinking rationally, but just trying to stay alive 1 quarter at the time, not thinking long term. Despite these hurdles, Tavares doesn't want the EU to delay the new CO2 targets. He told Agence France Presse that it would be surreal to change the rules now. Yes, in his interview, he claimed Stellantis has taken all necessary measures to keep up with the stricter regulations. My cars are ready, my people are ready, our factories are ready. Why delay? Is global warming no longer a problem? Right now, half of Portugal is burning. Yes, and I might just add that half of Europe is also drowning right now. So no, we still need the stricter emission target. That is coming next year. And that means that Stellantis and the other old boys need to sell more EVs to not get big fines. But many know they will not be able to do that, just like we see with Ford that is already prepared to use billions of dollars to buy zero-emission vehicle credits to not get these huge fines. As Morgan Stanley wrote in their latest note on Tesla, where they wrote Ford has disclosed it has accumulated firm commitments to purchase approximately $4 billion of zero-emission vehicle credits to help maintain fleet compliance on CO2 emission globally in the years ahead. The Morgan Stanley note states, Morgan Stanley estimates that up to 50% of those credits could be purchased directly from Tesla, potentially fueling $2 billion into Tesla's war chest. So maybe that is what Jim Farley meant when he said, "Take that, Elon.
Take that, Elon Musk.
Take that $2 billion, Elon Musk, and build some more EVs, because we don't know how to do that profitably." And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. And we had some huge things happening in the US this week that could affect Tesla's sales, as the Federal Reserve cut rates by 50 basis points, which was announced on September the 18th. Immediately, this rate cuts reduces the interest rates on loan, including auto loans, of course, and this means lower monthly payment for the same car price, making cars more affordable for those financing their purchase. And that is about 85% in the US, so this will have a great impact on the demand for car sales, making Tesla's already affordable vehicle even a better bargain. So we have been talking about the high interest rate for about 1.5 years now, about how this is a very difficult environment to sell expensive cars in, and now we are suddenly seeing it drop. So going to be very interesting to see what this will do for the demand for the cars in the US, and could help Tesla making some more record quarters in Q3 and Q4. And Tesla announced that they have produced their 100 millionth 4680 cell across all factories, sharing this image of the Optimus holding the 100 million 4680 cells produced. Big congratulations to the Cell team for this incredible ramp. And it seems like they have really gotten rid of most of the bottlenecks, as it took Tesla about 45 months to get to the first 50 million units produced, and the last 50 million only took a little over 3 months. And AJ made this chart where we can see just how the cell production is ramping up the exponential curve. And as Jordan from the Limiting Factor wrote on X, there were 101 days in the time span, which means on average they produced 495,000 cells per day. In terms of Cybertrucks, that's enough for an average run rate of 368 per day, or 2,578 per week, or 33,514 per quarter, or 134,280 per year. Notably, the numbers of Cybertruck actually produced this quarter is expected to be around 15,000. If that's correct, the 4680 ramp is getting well ahead of the Cybertruck ramp. And as I reported last week, Panasonic is also getting ready to produce the 4680 cell. So Tesla is definitely not limited by 4680 cells anymore. I have talked a lot about the stricter CO2 emission that is coming next year here in Europe, but Alex shared this nice chart showing what that actually means. As you can see, the red line is what is coming next year, and the green bars are the company's CO2 emissions today. And as you can see, Tesla of course has zero emissions on their vehicles today, but you can also see Geely, that is also making cars like the Polestar and Volvo, is already making enough EVs to be under the emission target for next year, but everyone else, as I have shown in different charts before, is just making enough to be under the target of 2024, and all have to make more EVs in 2025 to get under the new emission targets. And don't forget that the first step out of 3 of lowering the utility factor of the hybrids are also starting next year. So even though Toyota seems to be doing pretty well, as 68% of their sales in Europe are hybrids, and all of those will suddenly not give Toyota the same kind of lower emission targets as they did in 2024, they either have to make more BEVs or sell less ICE cars and make even more plug-in hybrids. But with them already at 68%, I don't think we will see much pure ICE sales sold from Toyota in Europe starting next year. And Tesla also shared a lot of great updates about their semi-truck this week at the IAA, but I did make a whole video about all of that, so if you want to learn more, check that one out, link down below. And the European Union is set to reduce the additional tariffs on Tesla cars imported from China, according to Bloomberg sources. The new rate will drop from 9% to 7.8%, making it the lowest among all car manufacturers and representing the third such reduction, giving Tesla an edge in the EU market compared to the competition. This is addition to the already 10% tariffs on all Chinese exports, including Tesla. This adjustment stems from the new data Tesla submitted to the EU authorities, highlighting Tesla's unique manufacturing setup in China, where it operates independently without a local joint venture, a structure that qualifies for lower tariffs under the EU regulations. So this will only be Tesla that gets this low tariffs. The final approval for these tariffs by the EU member states is not expected before November, with the possibility of further adjustment and objections from affected manufacturers. And Chinese battery manufacturer and Tesla supplier CATL has unveiled a new battery specifically for electric buses. The company says it has an energy density of 175 watt-hours per kilogram, a service life of 15 years, or at least 1.5 million kilometers. And a new study also showed what we already knew, and CATL has just shown us, that the batteries in an EV will outlast the vehicle itself. Yes, we already knew this. EVs will last longer than ICE cars, and the fear people have of battery dying is just a non-issue. And we can already see the impact electric vehicles have, as Bloomberg showed in a new article. Oil face a demand issue, biggest user segment to peak in 2027. Electric vehicles are already displacing nearly 1.8 million barrels of oil every day, roughly the same amount as Mexico consumes. Despite some bumps on the road when it comes to their deployment, the numbers is set to double by 2027 and triple by 2029, causing oil use in the road sector, the largest demand center for oil, to peak in 3 years, according to Bloomberg's Road Fuel Outlook. And here is a visualization showing just how much crude oil goes to diesel and gasoline. And combined, they stand for about 70%. So getting our transportation sector to go electric is a big deal in cleaning up our air. And we see that Tesla's diner is coming along quite nicely thanks to the video from 24/7 Tesla. So cool, can't wait to see this thing open as it will change the whole way we think about charging experience. And Canada's Minister of Industry, François Philippe Champagne, is calling on an offer from Elon Musk to provide Canadians with a cheaper internet access nonsense after Mr. Musk said he could get the job done with Starlink at less than half of the cost of the federal government's plan. Remember how politicians also called Tesla's big battery in Australia nonsense, but Tesla did deliver on those promises, and it turned out to be such a good business case that the energy company made it 50% bigger. And we have seen what kind of money the government is spending on making internet in the US rural areas, so I don't think the politicians want to be betting against Elon on this one. And Tesla held a little ceremony in Australia as they opened their 100th supercharger station in the country. Nice, things are still growing. And we all know that Ford and GM has access to Tesla's charging network in the US, and all customers need an adapter. But here we can truly see the difference between the companies, as GM is selling their NACS adapter to its EVs customers for $225, while Ford is giving them away to new customers with no charge. GM has truly lost their way. No wonder no one really wants to buy their EVs. And we can see another great example of the benefits of owning a Tesla compared to everyone else, as Tesla owner UK wrote on X. New car picked up today. Usually excitement follows by hours and days or weeks getting the car just right and customized with all your own settings, seat position, navigation preference, address setup, and so much more. But not with a Tesla. You arrive and accept a few things in the app, and all your previous settings are ready in the car when you unlock it using your own phone, I might add. It's like alien technology. And Tesla added to the post and wrote, as soon as the car's added to your app, your previously settings preference automatically sync. Also applies to supported loaner vehicles and rentals. Yes, I experienced this myself when I borrowed the Tesla when mine had to go for the workshop, and I just added the new car to the app, and everything in this strange loaner car was all set to my preference with my playlist, favorites, and navigation point and everything. Yep, the old guys has a long way to catch up with Tesla's alien technology. And Jesse, that admitted he was wrong about Tesla's Cybertruck, also wrote this post on X this week. Uh-oh, don't tell the EV sale has stalled, folks, but August saw a set of new records in the US. And it is the highest battery electric share ever with 8.6%. Plug-in vehicle sales shares were 10.2%. And as you can see, BEVs are at their highest number ever, but EVs are falling. No, you are probably looking at the wrong chart then. Here you can see ICE sales in the US, and they are actually falling. So it is really only in the EU that the BEVs are struggling a tiny bit this year. And as you can also see, hybrids have not taken over and left BEVs in the dust. BEVs are still the all-dominating force in the plug-in market. Just as we can see when we look at Norway, that, by the way, now have more BEVs in their entire fleet than petrol cars. But here on this chart, you can also see the plug-in hybrids did grow, but then it stopped and went down again. And we will see the same thing happen everywhere, just as we're seeing in my country that the plug-ins are taking over, but BEVs is the one growing the most, and hybrids will eventually fade away, just like we saw in Norway. And we can also see on this chart from Roland that Tesla, despite all the price cut through the last 1.5 years, they are still in the top of the automakers when it comes to making profits per unit sold. Even though everyone else is basically losing money on selling EVs, Tesla is making just as big margins on their EVs as the German premium brand does on their ICE cars. Just very impressive, and why Tesla is still in a league of its own. And the sales of used EVs increased by 70% in the first half of the year in the US. Tesla's price cuts have contributed significantly to the surge in demand for used electric vehicles. The average price of a used EV has dropped below $30,000, making them more affordable than many gas-powered vehicles. Government incentives, including tax credit up to $4,000 for used plug-in models, have also boosted sales. Dealers report faster sales of used EVs compared to traditional gas cars in the $20,000 to $30,000 price range. So people are really starting to realize that the affordable EVs are already here. It's just a used one, as I've shown before here in Denmark as well. And we have been talking about the Cybertruck being a rolling billboard since it was revealed back in 2019. And we are seeing that play out right now as companies are using it, mostly because it turns head and people are seeing their company name on the side of the Cybertruck. And speaking of the Cybertruck, we found out about a new mind-blowing engineering secret about the Cybertruck. As Dave Madsen found out, secret of the Cybertruck subwoofer revealed. If you've listened to the Cybertruck audio system, the first thing you notice is that it has a deep bass, but there are only two 8-inch subwoofers with small enclosures under the rear seats, buried in the floor. What's the secret? The secret is revealed by the foam gasket. The enclosure tightly meets up to the frame and create a much larger scaled enclosure using all of the dead airspace within the structural frame cavity. Wow, that is brilliant. And as Vas, Cybertruck's lead engineer, said, good analysis. This is what happens when teams work together to make the best product. Yep, something we will never see from the legacy automakers, as their departments don't work together. Seems like we are still discovering new things about the amazing Cybertruck all the time. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest supporters of this channel. My new YouTube member, Duane Boney, and my new Patreon producer, Douglas Mark, and my new updated Best in Tesla superhero, Jay Whitehead. Thank you so much for your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. A little demonstration of what will happen if you think you can time the market. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheet, also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.